Hey guys, welcome to my latest edition of landscape photography here in Tasmania. Today I'm going right off the grid. I'm exploring a geographical area known as the Tarkine here on the northwest part of Tasmania. The area I'm going is very uncharted and I've had to chat to a few different people like photographers and trekkers alike to try and piece the puzzle together on where to actually access the spot I'm going to go. And there's supposed to be a whole bunch of different caves down in there, so yeah, it's going to be a real interesting experience down here, and hopefully there'll be a heap of cool photography to pick up along the way as well, like this river here, which is the Arthur River. So stay tuned and let's go check it out. Hey guys, I've just parked the car. I'm just walking down a really small forestry road here, and I'd say it's pretty disused. Obviously when I drive down here I'll scratch a lot of paint off my vehicle. So checking my notes, about another kilometre down this road I'm expected to find a bunch of ribbons just on the side of the track, which should take me down into some caves and a river system. So let's go and have a look and see if I can find it. So I've just left the car about half hour back up this track, and I'm glad I left the car back up there because it really is not a place to bring a vehicle. I've just found a couple of ribbons. This is the place to get into the cave, so let's go and have a look. I'll give you a tip, this track is just barely a track. As you can see, it's pretty overgrown. Let's hope it gets a bit easier up through here. So I've just been walking through the dense scrub here for about 30 minutes, and surprisingly I'm quite sweaty considering we're going downhill most of the way. Me slipping down the hill. So I've got my waterproof pants on, luckily. Whoa. This really is a mudslide down here. And I really don't want to fall in this stream or this river. How cool is this? So I'm standing down in the river and I'm just going to go and check out this cave. The river literally disappears into the side of this hill. I don't know how well you can see me or hear me, but I've actually crawled my way into this cave and it is spectacular. I'm going to set up in here and try and take a picture. You can see I'm set up in this cave just behind this submerged log, which is a really good little shelf for me to place things on, which is always handy in the middle of a river. What I've done is I've set my camera up to try and get a wide angle perspective of this. The lighting is really difficult. It's really dark in here and it's really bright out there. So what I'm going to do is two separate exposures, one for the inside of the cave and one for outside of the cave, and then in post-production I'm going to merge the two together so I've got sharp walls and it goes sharp off into infinity. I've got my circular polarizer on as well. There is still a lot of glare around even though there's not much sun, and as you can see, by just putting this circular polarizer on, I can cut through the glare in this river, which is going to give me a far more even exposure leading off into the distance. So let's give this a go. The easiest way to get around here is in the river, and the water this time of year, in the middle of June, is surprisingly cold. So I'm just going to spend the rest of the day or the afternoon just looking for some more spots and see if I can find some new compositions. So I've just been walking up the river for about 5 minutes, just walking through the river, and it's really starting to amaze me at the diversity down here and the cave network system. So let's go for a little bit more exploring and see if we can find that next composition. I'm standing a bit over my knees deep in the water here, and as you can see, as I've just rounded this corner, the view is spectacular. There is a small cascade just through here, which is going to make a prime composition for my next picture. So I'll just spend a bit of time setting up in this cavern, which is incredible down here. So let's have a look. So I've just set myself up here in the river to take my second composition for the day. Once again, like the first cave, I've had to take two separate exposures, one for the light value outside the cavern and a second exposure for inside the cavern here. It is far too dark to get an even exposure in one single picture. So by taking the two separate images, I can layer them in Photoshop and get myself one equal exposure. So I've just come upriver a little bit further, and I've done something that I don't usually do when it comes to photographing rivers, but I've taken an exposure looking downstream, which I think looks exceptional with this cave down in the background. I've just shot this at f11 at 1 second. I don't want the exposure for too long, as the water trails leading into the cave will become too white and I'll lose the contrast against the rest of the stream. So I've just packed myself up and I'm just going into this last location, or what I think might be my last location. So I've just put myself into this last position, situated in this river, and the light is just starting to fail, which is adding a little bit of colour to the atmosphere, and it's making the green in this ravine really start to pop, putting a nice yellow hue through it. And I just wish you can see how amazing this looks. Once again, I put my circular polarizer on to cut through the glare in the water here. And straight away, the colours look incredible. And I'm going to shoot this at f11 with a 1 second shutter speed. And I'm really excited to get this back and have a look at this on the big screen.